Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, on the CNBC website, I can see that all the index futures are looking positive, and oil has also gone up a little bit, and there are worries about, in Canada at least, about tariff causing a big problem for the energy sector out here. So that's the backdrop. And also another source of positiveness for all these indices is the fact that banks are coming up with good earnings report. At least JP Morgan has come up with better than expected results. Market in general, I think, is waiting for the inflation reports to come in so that there can be some confirmation whether inflation is going up or it's on the mend. So a status quo or something that shows inflation is going down would really help the market today. Anything other than that is going to push the markets down. So we got to be patient. I have the economic calendar out here, which shows us that around 8:30 we are going to get the inflation data. Another thing we have to keep an eye on is the Japanese market as well, because what's happening is, if you recollect, we had a yen unwind because people have borrowed Japanese yen and deployed it elsewhere because the interest rates were so low. But you have the Japanese inflation also that we need to keep track of, because I'm seeing that of late the Japanese yen is getting stronger. So if it becomes stronger, there should be some cutoff point where the yen carry trade will unwind and people will start taking their money out of other markets and rushing to pay back their yen denominated debts. So that could bring another drop. So that's another thing that we have to keep in mind. Now I'm going to go and have a look at the indicators. Now if you look at Dow Jones, of course there's seen a light amount of improvement out here, 2 consecutive green candles, and also the steep drop that we had has got altered. We are in a superior bear channel, but we are not yet creating new higher highs and higher lows. We came very close to creating a new higher low, but we are still in the process of maturing the structure out here. So I would still say that we are in a bear channel for Dow Jones. QQQ managed to break through this diagonal line of resistance, and then it has come back down again. And today in pre-market trade, it's at 506.73, up 0.33%, but still below the diagonal line of resistance. So our test for today is going to be to break that diagonal line of resistance and convert that into a support. S&P 500 has managed to stay on top of 5841.29. We are at 5842.90. So this line actually becomes a line of support at this point of time. And I hope that when the market opens, we continue with this gain of 0.11% that we have pre-market. Russell index again is having a whole lot of lower lows and lower highs, and we are still below the diagonal horizontal line of resistance of 220.48. Even though in the pre-market session we are up 0.44%, we'll have to see what happens when the market opens if we continue to stay above and convert this into a support. So I'll leave it as it is right now. And if you look at Nasdaq, there seems to be a trend reversal kind of a sign out here, but again the story is there are no new highs and higher lows and higher highs, so we are still in bear channel. So overall, I think we are still bearish. There is a status quo from yesterday. Put call ratio has become slightly bullish at this point of time, and VIX is not as high as it was in pre-market sessions in the last 2 days. So all of those things makes me feel that the market is just waiting with bated breath for the inflation report, which is coming at 8:30. I am recording at 7:31, and if the inflation report is favorable, then I think we can see a trend reversal in the market, especially for Nasdaq, and we could start creating new higher highs, and things could start improving. But right now there is no clue what's going to happen. Next we take a look at XLY by XLP, and I think there is some kind of a bull flag being created out here, which is a good thing, because if XLY by XLP raises, then we should assume that the consumer is pretty strong and they are preferring discretionary purchases. And if it starts going down, that means consumer is getting defensive, consumer sentiment is going down, and staples are going up because those are the essentials that you cannot avoid. So overall, I think we are in a hold pattern. It's like a plane circling the airport waiting to land. So 8:30 a.m. this morning, is going to be critical. So just react to what happens. We may lose an opportunity to get in advance as retail traders, but for us, I think safety is more important. Even if the market trend starts moving up, we can get in a bit late and still have some profits to make at the end of the day. We don't think that we can time the market perfectly with the kind of information that we have and the kind of skills that we have. But as long as we get a positive out of the market, I think that's what we should be happy with. Now let's switch our attention to the AI watch list, and we have Google, which is on a bull flag, and there's a gap down out here. The vitals are looking very weak, and there's a gain of 0.50 this morning. So we have to see if this bull flag support is able to allow it to get a bounce back and test the highs out there, or whether we are going to try and attempt a gap fill by falling below this diagonal line of support. And I think the inflation report will help us to bounce back up. And let's look at Tesla, which is looking very weak. It's up 1.06% in pre-market trades. Tesla is looking very weak, and it's unable to break through the resistance, which is at 418.87. Pre-market, it's up 1.08%. But the technicals need a lot of mending out here. Apple is up 0.21%, but it seems to be in a free fall. There is a little bit of consolidation out here. The MACD is looking as bad as it could be, except that we are still not in the oversold area. I'm thinking that probably we'll go to oversold and then recover from there. We have the earnings coming up on 30th of January. There's a whole lot of earnings coming up. The earnings calendar is starting to get busy from next week. This week is mainly banks, and I think the earnings catalyst will start showing up in most of these charts. Meta is also looking quite weak, and it's on a long-term support line, and it could fall down below that because I don't see much support out here on the technicals. We'll see what happens when the market opens. Amazon is also on a long-term support line, and it's above this line of support today in pre-market trading. It's up 0.60%, but MACD and momentum are looking quite weak. Microsoft is also on almost like a free fall. There's a steep bear channel in which it is going down. Our next support is at 399.89. And if Microsoft goes lower, I'll definitely be interested. Nvidia has got two supports. The first support is going to be 130.15, and we are above that at this point of time in pre-market trading. We are at 132.15, but the MACD and momentum both are looking weak. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility of testing the next level, which is 127.55. And the one below that, which happens to be 126.20, at which price I think I would definitely be a buyer. And there's also news that Facebook or Meta is teaming up with AMD, and that could give a little bit of a boost for AMD. And that could also mean a little bit of market away from Nvidia. So let's have a look at what AMD is doing. AMD is up 0.03%. In pre-market trades, there is a trend reversal candle out here, red, green, and red. So we'll see what happens this morning when the market opens. But right now, the prospects don't look that great for AMD. And then we go on to Broadcom, which again has got a bull flag out there, and there's a huge gap up. All the vitals of the technicals are looking very weak, MACD, momentum. So the other thing that we want to see is Palantir. Palantir is also looking very weak today. Even though pre-market it is up 0.82%, as we can see, there are no new highs and new higher highs and higher lows. I think that we'll have to wait and watch what happens out here. That said, I'm going to look at Rigetti. Rigetti is up 7.15% this morning, a sharp raise from yesterday. And yesterday was a day of recovery for Rigetti. The MACD is still looking bearish, but momentum is showing a lot of pickup out here. We'll see what happens as the market opens. So with that, my friends, I'd like to bring this video to an end, and I'd like to hear from you what you think is going to happen later today. Wishing you all the best. Hope the inflation reports are favorable for the market. I'll catch up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.